السلام عليكم. أنا واحد من الهاربين من صقيع واشنطن. أنا فخور إن أنا أكون معاكم النهاردة، بس أنا البرزنتيشن بتاعتي معمولة بالإنجليش، فلو ما عندكوش مانع أنا الفيرجن بتاع البرزنتيشن ده كان اتعمل في الكاب 27 في البلو زون، فأنا كنت في مصر هنا هو الشهر اللي فات، ويعني الدكتور محمد طلب مني إن أنا أعمل البرزنتيشن نفسها، فit was in English. فالتايتل بتاع البرزنتيشن The Future of Eco Smart Cities, Can Universities Bridge the Sustainability Gap? First, what is an eco-smart city? An eco-smart city is an urban area that uses information communication technologies, methods, and sensors to collect data. Insights gained from the collected data are used to manage assets, resources, and services with the objective of improving quality of life, standards, efficiency of urban operations to enhance competitiveness and achieve sustainable development goals. Integrated technology solutions are key to the successful performance of eco-smart cities. The technological solutions of eco-smart cities represent an integration of intricate network of digital communication that unleashes 5G, Internet of Things, and AI ecosystems, serving the communication needs of billions of connected devices. Eco-smart cities are the solution. With 68% of the world's population will be living in cities by the year 2050, and that is according to the United Nations. The constant growth of urban areas represent a strong challenge for us as we address climate change and as we address mitigation measures. We are moving into basically urban areas. The population at large here, 68%, will be basically faced with the challenges of these urban areas, from climate change to health issues, to mobility, to quality of life challenges. Hence, the solution to that is going to be moving into smarter, more environmentally sensitive development of new urban developments here. Why eco-smart cities are considered the solution? Eco-smart cities offer great benefits based on the what we call the triple bottom line. Economic benefits, and that includes focusing on key revenue-generating sectors like fintech and ICT. Environmental benefits to accelerate the achievement of the 2030 goals of sustainable development with the aim of reducing the carbon footprint. Third, last and not least, social benefits related to citizen engagement and enhancement of service and quality of life standards and smart governance. The success of future eco-smart cities depends heavily on the engagement of citizens. The best practice experiences that involves in achieving sustainability rests on how can we engage the youth of tomorrow. Moving eco-smart cities into smart hubs results based on attracting 60% of the population under the age of 40, or what we refer to as the 60-40 formula. 60% under the age of 40 of tech-savvy young workforce that is committed to work in technology-related companies. This is a project that, one of the projects that we were involved in. Tyson's Partnership is a pioneering NGO that manages and engages a business community. The unique aspect of it, that it is a city without a mayor. It is a city that is governed by what is referred to the business development districts or zones, managed by the business community in collaboration with NGOs and engaging citizens in the development of this amazing project. Success in future smart cities depends on engagement. Engagement happens through active participation of the local business leaders that offer incentives to boost citizen engagement in the smart cities by focusing on empowering the youth. And this is basically where my presentation is focused on the role of universities in engaging the youth of tomorrow in building the future cities. Youth engagement is very critical, for enhancing services and harmonizing communities. This is a model for citizen engagement that aims to address climate advocacy and how to incentivize the youth to advocate the new climate adaptation and mitigation measures. The enhancement of youth engagement in eco-smart cities must be defined on an identity. People will not get engaged if the city lacks an identity. A city is more than just infrastructure. A city is a living city, and people will be engaged in it as long as there is a strong sense of identity. How we build that identity and how can we engage the youth in the making of the city of the future is very critical for its success, and it's very critical for it to become an inclusive city, a city that is committed to green economic prosperity. From the podium of Le Blue Zone at COP27, I announced my initiative, and this initiative, I call it Green Stories from Egypt. Green Stories from Egypt aims to build a new nation brand identity for Egypt that helps Egypt to move forward in its transformative efforts in becoming a green economy. The green economy of the future is for us to celebrate. Egypt is doing a lot that we need to show and tell the world about what we are doing by the youth and for the youth and for the future of Egypt. It is incredibly important to promote youth engagement in celebrating the launch of mega projects like the Bimpan of Aswan project, the world's largest solar energy as declared by the World Bank. For us to engage the youth, I developed this model, Green Stories from Egypt. It rests on 3 pillars, and I call it the golden triangle: awareness, engagement, and advocacy. You cannot engage the youth without building a strong sense of understanding and awareness among them. And you cannot have youth with a strong advocacy to climate change without engaging them. So awareness builds towards engagement, and engagement is critical for climate advocacy. There are a lot of successful stories emerging in these great new cities that Egypt is building. A lot of people will say, is it priority for Egypt? I say we are late in joining the world in building future smart cities. India, for example, back in 2015, launched 100 new cities, new smart cities. So yes, we might be late, but better being late than never. It is a top priority for Egypt, and I commend the leadership of Egypt in putting a lot of great efforts in building the proper infrastructure for that to move Egypt forward. Here are two examples of successful green stories from Egypt. This is pictures show here Africa's first and probably the Middle East first social housing project for the poor that supports climate effects and that mitigates the effect of the environment. This is green buildings that aims for enhancing the quality of life standards of the poor. It has been referenced by the World Bank as one of the success stories of Egypt and the region. Social housing supports climate effects to improve quality of life standards for citizens. But also another successful stories from Egypt in helping Egypt to meet the Sustainable Development Goals. And these slides show how fourth generation cities like the new administrative capital and the new Alamein city that are basically drawing investment to boost tourism in Alamein and in support of green economic transformation as well in both Alamein and the new administrative capital. Egypt and the green economic transformation, and this is where the gap is, and this is where the role of the universities can be in helping to bridge the sustainability gap in moving forward for eco-smart cities. In the year of 2020, an influential study by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, the UNIDO, presented an important taxonomy that shows how nations are clustered around a number of dimensions. Dimension number one is infrastructure buildup and policy development. Egypt is considered well ranked in that respect. Here is where Egypt is, and the arrow points where Egypt is rated as second-tier nation. Second tier, that is very good compared to the US is also classified as a second-tier nation in that respect. Egypt is doing very well when it comes to infrastructure build-up and when it comes to policies for sustainable development. But where the gap is, and this is where the UNIDO study 2020 points out, that Egypt is not top classified when it comes to skill sets and knowledge and youth empowerment programs. And that's where I think the role of the universities can be in how to bridge the sustainability gap here and move Egypt forward beyond the marvelous efforts that have been invested in infrastructure development and in policy development. To cope with that, Egypt, and I believe this is a primary role for universities to seize this opportunity and play a very critical role in building the needed skills among the youth for that. Very interesting. I would like to mention that I'm spending this winter semester with the American University in Cairo. They attracted me through a distinguished professor visiting. And the reason is in my proposal to them, and they have invited me to submit a proposal and talk about how can we make the leap forward as a university. How can we make a leap forward when it comes to our contribution to the Sustainable Development Goals 2030 of Egypt, and how we take climate, the climate recommendations, COP27, beyond COP27, and moving forward beyond COP27. And this is where the major issue that I'm being tasked with is to engage the business community, how to help AUC in engaging the business community in climate advocacy programs in support of Egypt's transformation towards the green economy. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we are holding a very pioneering panel for the first time, where we are going to launch Green Stories from Egypt on the AUC campus, but beyond AUC. Green Stories from Egypt is aiming to engage other universities throughout Egypt in order to celebrate again how the youth can move forward with building skills, communication, leadership, leadership skills, green leadership skills, green know-how skills on mitigation and how to adapt to climate change in different sectors, the tourism sector, the energy sector, and other sectors. We have business leaders coming tomorrow representing these sectors to interact with experts and media personnel. We are bringing the media to the table as well. Media ought to be a very important partner because we are talking about knowledge, we are talking about awareness, we are talking about new breakthroughs, we are talking about mitigation measures that requires engagement of the youth, and media plays a critical role. That's why we are having the business sector as well as the media as partners in this to move forward with this particular initiative. The future is today. The future of the youth of tomorrow, the future is today. The future of the eco-smart business, university visiting experts programs can be a very good vehicle for Egyptian universities to attract experts in areas that relate to energy and environmental management. So to come and spend a semester at the universities here in Egypt, which we often do, but anchoring mainly on that very important dimension in how to integrate knowledge about management, about business development, about innovation and creativity, how to integrate that within the environmental and energy spectrums. University visiting experts programs involve engaging target partner industry leaders and policymakers. We have two ministers that are also involved with us tomorrow. Well, the Minister of Industry and the Minister of Planning. Very interesting. Two young women coming as experts to speak on behalf of these two ministers and what these needs are of these ministers and how can the business partnership, sharaka, مع القطاع private sector, with engagement of the youth and empowering this communication through media. Green economic transformation is a reality for Egypt. This involves building business partnership for action on branding Egypt as a green economic hub. These outreach activities serve the purpose of developing business-sponsored research and educational programs with the purpose of connecting with best practices and caring about Egypt's green future. For the sake of time, I'm gonna wrap up with this slide. What we are aiming for here in our efforts and and I'm opening arms when collaborating with other universities, and we have been collaborating with other universities. Dr. Isam Al-Kurdi, we have been working with him for nearly 6 months and brainstorming ideas and seeking funding sources for that. And Al-Amin University is a natural hub. Being located in a smart city like Al-Amin will be tremendous for us to spin over the efforts that we are starting now at AUC to spin over and continue our collaboration with Al-Amin University. And of course, the traditional universities of Egypt as well. But I am really focusing my efforts heavily here on universities, smart campuses that are located in smart universities. And I'm aware of several other الجامعات الأهلية في other smart cities like the new administrative capital. I've been invited to visit another university in the new administrative capital, and they claim that they are the first smart campus on the administrative capital, and I'm going to visit them in 2 weeks. So it's a very ongoing relationship, and AUC is opening arms to expand our efforts beyond the AUC campus. But it has an educational component, and one of the areas that I'm calling for a university-wide course on sustainable development. So sustainable development is not held to a single faculty. We have a sustainable development course that is offered at George Washington University, and I'm using that model for AUC here as a potential partnership for other universities as well. This sustainable development course is a university-wide course, and this course is taught by and team taught by faculty from the schools of engineering, the schools of medicine, the School of Medicine and Health, the School of Communication and Media Studies, and the School of Business and the Elliott School of International Affairs. So we have a very important initiative from an educational point of view, from a business, green business incubators, innovation hubs, and the sky is the limit when it comes to media engagement, in celebrating these stories and showcasing them through the media. And that's what we call it, green stories from Egypt. I have two very renowned anchor media executives from Egyptian National TV and the Egyptian satellite channel are joining us tomorrow in order to talk about what about the role of the media? What about the role of the media in going beyond the campus boundaries? Yes, a lot of educational programs and empowerment programs of the youth on campus, research roundtables, and beyond campus in terms of media engagement. Our aim is to anchor on sustainability. Our aim is to turn eco-smart cities into lasting green prosperity hubs. Thank you for your attention, and that's the end of my presentation.